guys, so today we're back with another Pokemon Masters video, and today we're actually going to be going over, well, this is kind of a little bit of an old news topic at the moment, but I do want to cover, I do want to be thorough and actually cover each and individual sync grid at this point. We are actually going to, so we've already talked about price in another video, and I figured we might as well start from the get-go and just do the original three that were released, which were Protagonist and Pikachu. Flint and then Flannery also got theirs released all at the same time. So we're going to start with Pikachu, main character in Pikachu, Protagonist Pikachu, however you want to call it. I personally wrote the script in as me and Pikachu because it's me, guys. Anyways, so we're actually going to go through this entire sync grid here. And we're pretty much just going to kind of detail every little thing that we can look at. And we're going to kind of go over a couple of builds that are kind of interesting and a couple of unique ways that you can really make Pikachu your own, pretty much. So all in all, if you don't know basically how sync grids work, I do have a video for that. If I can remember, I will put a card like right up here somewhere for you guys. But otherwise, we're gonna go ahead and get into how the whole, like, I personally tend to look at sync grids. I typically look at them as 4 quadrants. So as you can see, I'm like tapping around this first quadrant here. I call this the top left. I call this one the top right. And then I call this one the bottom left. And then the bottom right here. So the centerpieces are all like, they're free almost. They cost 5 sync orbs to get, but they're essentially free. They don't cost any energy. And then we have the 2 sync move powers. I don't really count those as part of a quadrant. I would say they're more of like in the center, but we may or may not talk about them in the upcoming videos. So first thing that we're going to do is actually start in this top left hand quadrant here. We're actually going to go over, we're going to start from the center and then work our way outward because that's the way that things are going to be locked. So basically you have certain tiles that are going to be locked behind a certain level sync move. Pikachu actually has a ton of power-ups unlockable in the shop if you use your daily vouchers. A lot of people were suggesting never to use those daily vouchers on Pikachu, but I personally used them on Pikachu because I like Pikachu. Actually, I just wanted to power him up because it was the first like free sync pair that we were able to do that with, I'm pretty sure at the time. This was a little bit before Flint and Flannery had their fire event. Anyways, so starting from the center, working our way outwards, of course we do have this center square. Well, I'm gonna call them squares just because I'm a square. We have these center tiles, which starting at the top, going clockwise around, we do have speed +5, HP +10, we do have special attack +5, defense +5, special attack +5, and then special defense +5, okay? Now working our way to the left, I would consider this little quadrant, kind of like the potion side of things, I guess is how I want to say this. So you'll notice that these 2 red tiles up here are going to basically increase the amount of HP restored by the user's healing moves, which of course, as we know, Pikachu does have potion. So you have 2 of these which enable you to basically increase a ton of a ton of HP that you get from using potion. And we also do have another red tile here, which is for MP Refresh 3, which actually has a moderately good chance of raising or giving you back a use out of your potion once you use it. It's not guaranteed, but it is a good chance, moderately good chance, that you'll get it actually back. It's basically using potion for free sometimes. So then also we do have a couple of Thunderbolts here. We have a Thunderbolt power +5. We have a Thundershock power +4. That's all fine and dandy. We do have a couple of stats here with the defense +10 and the HP +20. And then we have Unyielding. So when the user has endured the most recent hit and has 1 HP remaining, has a small chance of allowing the user to endure an additional hit, which is so cool. I really, really like that. There are 2 of those here, which basically is just gonna pretty much increase the chance that you have. So you'll see it says a small chance of allowing. Basically both of those are the same, which is great, but it actually increases it a small chance for each tile that you unlock. So if you unlock both of them, you may have a slightly better than small chance at getting that. So that's pretty much this little quadrant. I really, like, interestingly, this quadrant is kind of used in one of the builds. Total orb cost, if you wanted to unlock everything, and remember, this does not count this sync move, okay? It's just the tiles that are unlockable, not the sync move stuff. 720 total orb cost and a cost of 60 energy. So you could, in theory, unlock this entire quadrant and run Pikachu with just those boosts, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but, you know, to each his own. Next, we're going to talk about this top right-hand quadrant, which we're going to move up here. As you can see, we do have 3 red tiles up in the top. Those are going to be Thundershock move gauge refresh, Thunderbolt move gauge refresh, and Jumpstart move point refresh, which is a lot. So basically, these are going to give you a chance to get a little bit of move gauge back on Thundershock and Thunderbolt, and MP refresh is just going to give you another usage out of Jumpstart. Here again, moderately good chance. Now there's a lot of green here, which makes this kind of whole quadrant pretty important. So we have 3 Thunderbolt power-ups, 2 +4s, which are right here, and we have a +6 right there, which is actually pretty cool. Then we do have 3 Thundershock boosts, which are going to be these 3, +3, we have a +3, and we have a +5. So there's a lot to be like tinkering with your moves in this top corner. Then we also do have 2 special attack +5, and we have 1 +10 there. So all in all, this is probably my favorite quadrant, only because it has just so much move boost in it. It just has so much special attack in it. It's got a lot of stuff that I really like. And actually, if you were going to go for this entire quadrant, it would only end up costing you 468. I'm going to double check myself after I get done recording this, and I'll put that in the edit. 468 at 39 energy. That sounds really cheap, but hey, that I mean, it's not too crazy. Actually, yeah, that could make sense, because the red tiles aren't nearly as expensive as these. You can see that's 132 orbs for that unyielding, and there's 2 there, so I would say that's probably correct, but I'll still double check myself just to be on the safe side. So next, we're actually going to be looking at this bottom left-hand quadrant, which is going to basically have, this is going to also entail a unique way that you can take Pikachu. It's going to have a lot of hostile environment stuff. So all of these red tiles are going to have hostile environment attached to them, which basically is going to increase the chance of inflicting status conditions with the effects of your moves. So that, of course, is going to actually help out. I do want to double check. Thundershock has a very small chance, and Thunderbolt also. Okay, so they're both very small chances, but this will increase that from a very small chance to maybe a moderately good chance. I don't know exactly how much it's going to increase, but it will increase it so that it's more likely that you'll paralyze the enemy, which is good, because that's actually a direction that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Now, we do have a couple of green tiles here. We do have a Thundershock +5. We do have a Thundershock +4. We have a Thunderbolt +4 and a Thunderbolt +5. One of the things that I noticed, especially the difference between like Price and Pikachu, or Price and the Protagonist, Sync Grid, is Price really felt like each quadrant was one move. I really feel like Pikachu has a lot more like evenness in every single quadrant. Like, yeah, some quadrants are definitely more gimmicky than others, but there's a lot of like flow in between them to, like, there's some Thundershock, there's some Thunderbolt, which is really nice. It kind of opens up a lot of different avenues for you. The blue tiles here are going to be a speed +5, a special attack +10, and another special attack +10. So those are all fine and dandy. Now, in our last quadrant here, this is kind of, this was Price's big section for me. I love this little quadrant. For Pikachu, it's a little different. So we do have a Thunderbolt right here. We do have a Thundershock right here, both +4s. But we do have actually, okay, so this is, never mind. This is actually a really cool, I forgot these yellows were gonna tie together. So Power Reserves 5, which is gonna power up moves in a pinch. So that basically means once we get below a certain threshold of HP, we do get a small attack buff, well, a power buff. It's more of like, it buffs up the base power of the moves. It's not really like a stat increase, it's more of like a base power increase. And then we have Power Reserves 9, which is going to increase even more. So that's pretty insane that you can add on to the power of your moves whenever you get super low. But then you have Paralysis Synergy, which is going to power up moves when the target that you're actually attacking is paralyzed. That's pretty insane, so I really like that. Then of course we do have a Thunderbolt, a Thundershock, I think I already mentioned those, but our stats here are pretty crazy. Speed plus 10, defense plus 10, we have a special defense plus 10, and an HP plus 30. All pretty freaking amazing. And as a whole, I really like this grid. I think this grid is actually really cool. There are quite a few ways that we can take this, and speaking of, let's actually talk about two different ways that I think would be interesting. Now, I did not come up with these builds. I personally got these from Reddit. These are tried and true. These are tested. I haven't had enough orbs to test any of the sync pairs that we're going to go over this week. Just to make that disclaimer, please remember to say that in the following videos, because if I just say it now, they won't hear it in the next few videos. Anyways, so I'm just basically going to lay an overlay on top of the screen here and kind of show off a couple of different paths here. So the first one that I want to highlight is really going to shine Thunderbolt at even brighter light. So basically we're going to start with that center ring, of course. I highly recommend it because it's almost free. Like, it costs 5 orbs per, which ends up costing you 30 orbs total, but they don't cost any energy, so they're pretty much great. If we start in the top left-hand quadrant, we're only going to go for this one Thunderbolt power-up right here, and then we're actually going to move all the way up into the top right-hand quadrant. We are going to go pretty deep here. We're going to get the 3 Thunderbolt power-ups. We're also going to get the special attack along the way, and then we're actually going to get that Thunderbolt with the move gauge refresh at the very top there, which is actually going to be cool. Now, on the bottom left-hand side quadrant, we are going to get the speed. We're then going to get the 2 Thunderbolt increases, the special attack increases, and then the Thunderbolt hostile environment. So that's actually going to help with a little bit of paralysis on the enemy that kind of like helps us do a little bit more damage, because in the bottom right hand quadrant we are going to get the extra Thunderbolt power there, and then we're going to get that paralysis synergy 5 or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure paralysis synergy 3, 5, I can't read, I'm blind, my script is a little tiny. Anyway, so this entire little thing is going to be really focused on buffing up Thunderbolt, making Thunderbolt do as much damage as possible. It's already rather spammy anyway. It's 2 bars. It's not like super hard to get, you know, going with Thunderbolt and just keep them rolling. Super fun. I really think that that would be a really cool build to run, and probably the one that I'm going to end up unlocking once I get enough sync orbs. Now, the second build that we're actually going to talk about here is a little different. So this one is sort of based around Thundershock in a little bit of a way, but not really. So this one is kind of based more on having Pikachu survive as long as possible, and then kind of like forcing paralysis on the enemy team, and then giving a potion a little bit more credence. So, of course, we're going to start with our center ring. I definitely think that's recommended. So in the top left-hand quadrant, we are going to go straight for that potion move point refresh. We're going to then go up and get one of the unyieldings. That we don't really need both of them. We're gonna kind of rely on, you know, basically getting just a little bit of a boost there, and then we are gonna get the 2 potion master healers, which does increase the amount of HP that we get back. We're actually going to stay completely away from the top right-hand quadrant. We are going to move down into the lower left-hand quadrant, which we're going to get the speed to start with. We're going to get the 2 Thundershocks, and then we're going to get the hostile environments all the way down to the very bottom. So it's 3 hostile environments total there, which is going to have a ton of purpose trying to paralyze the enemy team. And then we're basically also going to stay out of the bottom right-hand quadrant. So this one's rather simple. It's kind of straightforward. There's not a whole lot to unlock, but the unyielding is kind of expensive. The potion masters are kind of expensive. So a lot of orbs kind of get taken up and a lot of energy get used right up in that first little section, which kind of makes it a little bit harder to expand upon this much more. But I think that is super cool. It kind of turns Pikachu into more of like almost like a tech hybrid, almost like a tech support type thing. Tech support? So those are my 2 builds. Of course, if you want to see these, I will actually make some graphics that I will post down in the Discord, which is in the description. But yeah, that's pretty much Pikachu. That is going to be it for this video, guys, but we are going to actually go do a quick sync pair scout here before I leave you. We're just going to do some basic, just regular sync pair scouts. I just need a Lisa. It's not like I'm really pushing for anything. I've got the banners covered at the moment, so if you want to follow along on the count of 3, gonna go in 1, 2, 3. No flashy animation. Not been getting too trolled here lately. But we do get a 4-star antenna. What kind of doors? What kind of doors? It is 4-star doors. Okay. It is a Wickstrom. Very, very cool. If you want to follow along on the count of 3, we're going to go to 1, 2, 3. So no flashy animation. What kind of antenna do we get? Do we get troll? No. We just get a 3-star antenna. What about the doors? Come on. 3-star doors, which is a brawly. That is fine, but that is actually going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for watching. As always, remember, if you want to join the Discord, it's linked down in the description below. Also, down there are links to Patreon and YouTube memberships, if that's your thing. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and head out, but I'll catch you in the next video.